Hey, what's good, YouTube? It is your boy Fourth and Gold, and I am back again with another video. And in today's video, man, first things first, it is week one, or week one Sunday, first Sunday of football season, NFL season. A lot of crazy games, a lot of good, juicy games. We had some classics, or we had a classic between the Dolphins and the Dolphins and Chargers. The Eagles, we almost choked, but we got it out. The Colts lost, hey, it's a party in my city. But no, on a serious note, man, it was a really good day for football today. I could not sleep last night. I was ready to get off of work earlier, and man, once I sat down, I enjoyed it. I will be making like my highlights, my thoughts of week one. Not a overreaction, but things that I seen that we should all be paying attention to throughout the season. But today, man, we gotta talk about the Dallas freaking Cowboys, man, and Dan Quinn more specifically, because Dan Quinn, he does not get talked about for what he has done for this Dallas team, for what he did in Atlanta, and even what he did in Seattle, man. I know we talked about, we all know about the Legion of Boom and things like that, man. But man, Dan Quinn, like he may have another Legion of Boom with the Dallas Cowboys, and although the secondary is not as good, the front seven blows that front seven out the water. First things first, that Seattle team did not have a Micah Parsons. That's let's just get that out the way. They did not have a Micah Parsons who can be anywhere on the field and do everything on the field. And the fact that they did add a really just a really good corner. He still is a Pro Bowl caliber corner in Stephon Gilmore, and they got him from the Colts for like pretty much nothing. He has an interception tonight, going crazy. Malik Hooker, he found his footing in the Dan Quinn system. I'm super happy for him because he was drafted by the Colts. I think he came out of Ohio State. He struggled at Indy. That's two players from Indy that Dan Quinn has transformed. So shout out to Indy. But nah, man, he sort of struggled, and once he went in the Dan Quinn system, he's been a really solid coverage corner. He's been just all around corner, or not corner, safety, just a really solid coverage safety, and he sounded like a really good extension. He didn't get overpaid, but he didn't get like a little baby deal. Like he got his mid-tier player status money, which is still a lot of money. Still going crazy. Armstrong, the big defensive guy, defensive end, Dorrance Armstrong, he's balling out. They just have a bunch of really good pieces. Obviously, DeMarcus Lawrence, off the edge, and Micah Parsons is still there. Dante Fowler, man, he's like, possibly on the brink of being, a solid 7 to 8 sack in a season type of guy, because he looked really good tonight, and just all around everybody on that front seven and that whole defense looked phenomenal. And we don't talk about how Dan Quinn just goes out there, and remember in the first year they was getting cooked a little bit. They was running the ball. They was doing what they doing, and then they caught a little break off that field goal scoring, or not a little, a big break, because it was a touchdown. But I didn't think it was going to suck out the momentum of the Giants. And once the Giants went back on the field, Dan Quinn, he made his little adjustments in that 5 to 10 minute period, and yeah, pretty much it was over. What they did was which was interesting was Micah Parsons, he sat out the first two plays after that field goal block touchdown, right? So that's like a 5 to 10 minute gap between him playing, and he got charged up. He came out on that third down, and he went up the middle, and he almost made Daniel Jones get a fumble. So the Cowboys' defensive line presence is just that deep, to where Micah Parsons, the best player in the NFL, can sit out for two whole plays and they're fine. Like, that's how deep they are. And they added a rookie, Mozzie Smith, the defensive tackle. He didn't start, but he was in a rotation. I didn't really see him play, or we're not focused on him too much. I forgot he was even out there half the time. But they're just that damn good. But going back, man, to the game, Dan Quinn, he read his bread and butter, just a simple cover 1 or a cover 3 with a little variations here and there. Throw a guy in the box, whatever, right? But it just, again, once they got to the quarterback, they took control, in the front seven. And one thing that I've sort of been preaching on this channel is, if you can control the guys up front, the D line and the O line, you won half the battle, right? Because if you can protect the quarterback or get to the running back, protect the running back or whatever, like if you can win that battle, there's no such thing as passing the ball or throwing deep balls or getting your Tyreek Hill open or getting your Justin Jefferson, because you can't get to him, right? If you can get to the quarterback, shake him up a little bit, make him lose his confidence, like you won that battle. And again, them being so deep and having a lot of depth, even with the best player in the world on the defensive line, things like that, and he can just sit out for a couple plays and they're still getting to him. It makes your defense a whole lot deadlier, and also that that the front four is like or the front seven is like the packages are just never the same, right? A lot of times what teams want to do is they want to have the two best pass rushers on two opposite ends, right? Well, the Cowboys, they're putting DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons sometimes on the exact same side, or they may put the three guys or four guys to the right heavy and then have their two best pass rushers on the other side, or they may just have Micah Parsons as a standing up linebacker and then have Dante Fowler and DeMarcus Lawrence on the same side, or they may just put in three defensive tackles like Mozzie Smith and their two other juggernauts in the center, and they're just not always having the same front seven, and that's where it gets dangerous, because if you can mix it up with your front seven and guys are taking breaks and they're going in full energy the entire game, oh, it's over. Like, you're not winning that game. And tonight we've seen it. Right now it's like middle of the fourth quarter. I think at this point, both teams have quit, or not quit, but it's like a white flag for both teams, or for the Giants. It's like 40-0, and yeah, Daniel Jones did not look good at all. I think once that pick six or that fumble when Saquon Barkley dropped or whatever, I think we knew it was going to be a long night for him. And the Dallas offense, crazy enough, didn't look that good, honestly. It was so easy for Dak tonight. I mean, because he had pretty much great field position every single time he got on the field. And Tony Pollard, all they had to do was just really run the ball, throw little hitches or throw little in routes, out routes here and there, curl out routes. And I don't think next week that's going to fly versus the Jets at home. I think next week the offense does have to come out and play. But I don't think this week. At the same time, I don't think that the offense was really fully geared or fully was like playing serious, because it's like, we got a deadly defense that's going to take care of us and give us great field position. So why, you're not really making us work for an actual touchdown. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but man, the Cowboys, they showed out for the very first Sunday Night Football game, and I'm excited. Probably on Tuesday I will be dropping like a full week one, top games that I watched and I really digested or things like that. Probably drops on Tuesday night or Tuesday morning, depending on my work schedule. I definitely want to talk about the Eagles and Vikings. I definitely want to talk about the Chargers and the Dolphins and a couple other games. But I just want to talk about just the dominance of the Cowboys defense tonight. Dan Quinn, he cooked up a 5-star meal tonight. And again, he has had, elite defensive units. Atlanta we're going to talk about in a few, but, with Seattle, the bread and butter was in the secondary. Them running like a cover three, variations. He's the one who really, made it super popular, have like a Earl Thomas, a Cam Chancellor, a super hard-hitting safety with a really great coverage guy who can also hit really hard, and Earl Thomas, having one really good zone coverage corner, and Richard Sherman, run cover three. Richard Sherman is probably one of the greatest corners of all time. Yes, I did say that. And whereas this year is just, get to the quarterback. Like, we can get to him. Like, I mean that secondary, is going to take care of its own. But our bread and butter is Micah Parsons and Dante Fowler, DeMarcus Lawrence, and all that. But talking about the Falcons, I think this is where, he thought I think what the Dallas defense is now, I think that's what he thought the Falcons was going to be. I think, Vic Beasley was supposed to be the Micah Parsons. I think after his rookie season, he just fell off, or after the 2016 season, he just fell off a brick wall or fell off a cliff and never came back. Obviously Grady Jarrett was like the Michael Bennett, or just a star defensive tackle that he had. Grady Jarrett, he still is a very productive. Sorry, that's my water bottle. He's a very productive defensive tackle. He did pan out. Deion Jones, he didn't necessarily pan out to be like the superstar linebacker. He was a solid linebacker for like 3 or 4 years, and then he just fell off. He went to the Browns. I don't know what team he's on now, but like he just never really, was like the same player back in like 2017, 16, 17. And then the secondary, it had a lot of Seahawks. What's the word I'm looking for? Resemblance. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, but they had the zone coverage. Third corner and Desmond Trufant. They had one guy who was just super hard hitting, Cam Chancellor and Keanu Neal, and one of them, sorry, I had a burp. Ricardo Allen, he was like a Cam Chancellor / Earl Thomas, like undersized, but he could hit really hard. He did have some plays to where he was knocking dudes down, but Keanu Neal just could never stay healthy, man. And I remember, when the Colts and Falcons played, I had front row tickets to that game, and Keanu Neal, he tore his ACL right in front of my face, man, and I felt so bad because I knew the potential that this defense had, and the fact that they couldn't fully reach it, man, it just sucks, to be honest with you. And I think what this Cowboys team is, that Falcons team was supposed to be. And you know what? Sometimes you're just supposed to play the role of a defensive coordinator, or you're supposed to play the role of a of just one area, not try to be a head coach, because he did, sometimes the Falcons, they did struggle offensively, especially like his last year, but he had Kyle Shanahan, and once he left, it was just like, we don't know what to do now. But he had a star in Julio Jones in his prime. He had Matt Ryan, he had Devontae Freeman. I don't want to say Smith, Devontae Freeman, and he had a couple other guys, and they had a really solid offensive team on paper. But when they tried to put it together, it just didn't really work out. And part of it is his fault because he is the head coach, so you got to take some of the blame. But defensively, it is unlucky on his part. But the fact that he has revamped his career in Dallas and possibly the best defensive coordinator in the NFL, and probably goes down as one of the best of all time. Yeah, we gotta highlight that. I may make it like a full-fledged, long-term video on that. I don't know, but besides that, man, this is Strictly Logical, Fourth and Goal. I'm sorry, and I'm out, man. Peace.